Penicillin-resistant Staphylococcus aureus, or MRSA, is an infectious disease caused by bacteria that are resistant to many of the antibiotics typically used to treat staph infections. Most often, MRSA causes skin infections that start out as small red bumps but can turn into large, painful abscesses. If left untreated, MRSA can become life-threatening. In the last few decades, MRSA is becoming an increasingly prevalent problem in developing nations. For instance, the prevalence of MRSA in Tunisia increased from 16% to 41% from 2002 to 2007. In addition, the prevalence of MRSA was 44% in Botswana and 55% in Ethiopia as of 2007, and it had an overall prevalence of 53.4% in East Africa as of 2016. The continual growth of MRSA in these developing nations is likely attributed to the lack of infection control systems, poor healthcare infrastructure, as well as unsanitary conditions. To mitigate the spread of MRSA, it is important that detection methods are quick, accessible, and cheap, areas in which all the current detection methods are lacking. For example, one of the current diagnosis methods is taking a tissue sample and culturing it in a lab, but this can take up to 48 hours. Newer tests that use PCR to detect DNA in the bacteria have also emerged. Even they take a few hours.
Introducing Aquaflow, the one-step test. Aquaflow is not only cheaper than anything else currently on the market, but it is also extremely easy to administer. The only step is to draw up the syringe and results will be ready in minutes. Not only can the device be used by anyone, it can be interpreted by anyone as well. A positive test will induce a blue color change in the water, which can be identified by colorblind people as well.
How is it possible that one device is able to accomplish all of this? Well, Shravani will take you through the very simple breakdown of our device next.
Thank you, Haley. Aquaflow's composition is similar to a syringe, but the best part is that it does not stab you. The main components of this project are the innovative design, the buffer, the control membrane, and the antigen-selective membranes. The overall device has 3 simple components, which make it an easy-to-assemble device. Our device is given to you with a plunger drawn a quarter of the distance, with the device itself containing buffer liquid in that space. This allows for easier movement of the sample throughout the test. Next, place the device towards the back of the throat for optimal saliva collection and pull the plunger up. This will allow for the buffer liquid to pass through the membrane. The membrane section of our device is split into 2 parts, the control membrane and the antigen-selective AS membrane. We have designed our AS membrane to contain the antigen that is most present in MRSA to eliminate false positives. If the control membrane changes color, please do not use this device. If the antigen-selective membrane changes color, this means that you have tested positive for MRSA. An extra feature that our device has is its stoppers. These stoppers prevent the breakage of the device and prevent the user from pushing the sample too far into the device. And that's it. Just remember the 3 simple steps: pull, extract, and push.
As previously mentioned, costs associated with our product are extremely minuscule.
The components to be financially accounted for are the syringe, the buffer, and antibodies.
Overall, this amounts to a very low cost.
A general estimate of the syringe cost is only 17 cents since it is made out of plastic. This cost will probably decrease with time.
The buffer is essentially just made of salt water with a conjugate acid and base pair. Salt water is extremely cheap at approximately 7 times 10 to the negative $6 per 0.1 milliliters, which is exactly what we need for our product. Next up, antibodies will be approximately $8 per device, so it is the more expensive component. However, with more production, this price will also begin to decrease. Overall, the cost is essentially only $8.17 per product. Shipping costs and manufacturing costs may raise that a little bit.
Manufacturing costs may rise due to the fact that we're handling delicate biological molecules.
As these processes become more streamlined, the cost will most certainly begin to decrease.
With Aquaflow, patients won't have to go to a hospital to know if they have MRSA or not. This, along with the fact that our product produces results in a matter of minutes, leads to earlier detection of MRSA. By detecting MRSA earlier, hospitals and healthcare workers can take the appropriate measures to isolate and treat the patient and prevent contamination, which can slow the spread of MRSA in the hospital. Earlier detection will also lead to decreased death rates in a multitude of ways. For one, fewer outbreaks means fewer deaths. In addition, doctors will be able to treat the disease at its earlier stages, when the infection is not yet serious. In many cases, during the early stages of infection, doctors can avoid using antibiotics as treatment, and instead simply drain the abscess. By avoiding antibiotics, it is less likely that the bacteria will mutate to develop new resistance to existing antibiotic treatments. This will eliminate the need for certain treatments that may not always be feasible in developing nations due to their cost and availability.
Thank you!